Hi, my fellow screenwriting enthusiasts. It's Paul from Small Town Movie Critic. Now, if you're new to the channel, we're all about helping you write that kick-ass screenplay by giving you tips, tools, inspiration, and, of course, product reviews. And before we get rolling today, I'd like to shout out our latest subscriber, Nikita Ford, to the channel. Welcome. Thank you for joining the community, and I hope that your screenwriting project is going well. Now, in today's video, we're going to be looking at a product which was recommended to me off Screenwriting Twitter by user Argo. Now, this is not a sponsored video at all. Again, I just really, as you'll find out, I really enjoyed the product. It's called Storyboarder, created by Wonder Unit. The link to the website is in this description below. Now, before we dive into the product, let me show you what I did in 30 minutes of just opening up the program, and I created this. I think that was pretty cool. And here's the cooler thing. This program, which is available for Macs, PC, and Linux, is free. You heard me right. There are no subscriptions. There is no one-time price. There's no hidden charges. This is completely free. There's no catch. You might be asking yourself, why would they do something like that? Well, let me pull up the words of the creator or the owner. And he writes here, "Dearest friends, we made Storyboarder because we needed a good storyboarding tool that simply didn't exist. We used tools each day to help us do things. This is especially true with creative pursuits. As many artists before us, we think that tool making is an important aspect of creation. Making a tool that allows us to realize our vision is in a faster, richer, and more meaningful way is well worth the short-term investment for the long-term benefits." And now here's the part that, as you know, whenever I have us look at a new software or a new app and something, this is also particularly true, which I always really espouse. Tools are not a replacement for work. The tool alone doesn't make anything. Work is hard. Refining work into great work is even harder. And Storyboard at the highest level is a drawing organizer. It makes drawing and ordering drawings simpler. And you can do this with a stack of paper and a pencil, and anyone who makes broad claims otherwise is a liar. So I thought that was pretty neat. So again, this is a free software. And again, you can take a look at the website here, which is wonderunit.com. So you might be wondering, how does this tool help me as a screenwriter? Now, I lump Storyboarder in as one of those creative programs to have just on your computer. You have this great idea for a scene, and now you can suddenly create it. And as we have seen, there are some tools and things that are just very helpful for screenwriters. Another reason I think Storyboarder is important has to do with how it looks like the industry has been evolving, where a lot of writers are now suddenly directing the screenplays that they have written. Now, this tool will help you take what's in your head and allow you to be able to show people what the scene on the page looks like through your eyes. Now, one of the most famous directors who has done this before in the past was Alfred Hitchcock, who would actually storyboard his whole movie and not even look through the viewfinder after that, after he had storyboarded the movie. So that's enough of my ramblings. Let's take a look at how to use this program. So next we're going to take a look at what happens when we first open the program. And I have some recent storyboards I have for this illustration that we're going to be using today. Generally, you're going to create a new storyboard. And let's just take a look at how to do that to begin with. You can do two ways to do that. You can base it on a script or on a blank storyboard. So let's take a look at what it looks like based on a script. And I have one already here. And that's from my Chaplin script. And so what you do, it takes a fountain or final draft versions of the script. And so then it will download the script for you. And the nice thing too is it'll add all the scenes that you need to have added. And what it does is so you see your script written on here, and then you can take the shots that you want and put them in as many shots as you want to take. And now the other nice thing that I think when I was talking about how this is beneficial for a screenwriter too is if you have that scene in your head, it also has some interesting things here. So if you have that scene up, what sort of dialogue are they saying? What sort of actions are they saying? What are some other notes from that as well too for that particular scene? The other thing to notice about this is that it also has this function here with duration, and the duration's in milliseconds. You remember how I made that gift earlier? And so what we do in order to make a gift, because right now I think the default is 200 milliseconds. So you can make a gift out of this right now, and you just do that by going to File, Export as Animated GIF, and then each of these scenes would flash right after each other. For each scene would be 2,000 milliseconds. And so let's take a look. That gives you a little general overview of what it looks like when you bring a script in. Now let's just take a look at some of these tools that are up top, and these tools that you can use to just draw right on top of this particular scene. Now this scene I had already crafted before the video today. One of the things you can do with this particular scene, though, let's say you want a certain color. So let's say that we use this light pen here, and we just click and hold, and we want to have that the guy has some questions about what's going on, and then we also want to say that maybe the lady is mad, and so what we want to do is give that sort of direction that she has some explanations to say. The other interesting things you can do, you can draw whatever you sort of want on the board here, and then you can also maybe do direction. You want the camera to move this way across the scene, or maybe you want the camera to zoom in, and so you can give these different lines of what you would like them to do. So as we sort of look at, there's a bunch of different tools up here. A lot of these are different sort of size lines. The other ways you can affect and sort of texture, and so you can also affect this too by using by clicking and holding around this number here. That will increase the size of the line, and this will decrease or increase the opacity of the line. This will delete the scene if you completely want to clear the canvas. This particular tool here helps you move the image from one side to the other. So if we click on this, we can move the image from one side to the other. So maybe there's something that we wanted to focus on. And this one here is we can scale, drag the image to scale. So if we want a smaller image, we can make a smaller image. The lasso will allow us to take certain elements, and then we can move those elements around. So maybe we want the arrow here, maybe we want the arrow over there, and something like that. The other things you'll notice here on the upper part of the toolbox is there are different grids. Again, if you're hand drawing, that is helpful as well. What I just got done clicking here was the onion screen. What that does, it takes this previous scene and allows you, so if you're doing animation, I know Kat, you were thinking about doing some animation, this will help show you where the previous image was. And so if you want onion skin on, that is a particular helpful feature. The other two buttons up here, if you want to put captions on, you can do that as well too. Instead of just maybe doing a question mark, and you can put in there different words like "Can I help you?" or something like that. And then this other important button up here is you have the ability to take these images and import them to Photoshop. Now this is important because this is a free program, and it has a good variety of things, but it does not have a super wide range of different objects to use. And so Photoshop it's helpful to take some of the images to Photoshop and do some photoshopping in there as well too. And then you can bring that image back and place it on the storyboard, and to be able to manipulate it in the storyboard, you would just have to double click. Well, that's what it looks like when we get into a new storyboard with a script. Let's take a look at what happens when we just load up. So this is what storyboard looks like without a script coming in, and so you can see a couple different things. Again, we talked about the tools that you can use to draw right straight onto the blank canvas if you want to do all hand drawings. Now for myself, I'm not a great artist, so what I'm going to use to help create the images that you've seen earlier, we're going to use Shot Generator. So we just double click on that. Now this looks a little intimidating at first, but let me sort of get you acclimated to the screen here. Now you have these different ways to add different objects. You can add different cameras here. So if you want to move cameras around, you have the camera at different positions. You can rotate the camera, and all you do when you want to do move it maybe to a different height, or if you want to rotate it, just left click and then bring the camera to whatever rotation you want. And I'm just using the left mouse click and just sliding the mouse from side to side. And you can sort of see how up here in the image here that the camera has rotated, and you can see that it has rotated some more as well too. We can, besides just clicking on the camera and moving it in this window, we can also move it X, Y, and Z on the axis like so as well too. Now the important thing, and I'll just switch to that first camera, is we can add a bunch of different objects. So an object comes in as a again, you can click and grab it here, or you can manipulate the X, Y, Z here. Now this object is just a block. You can make stuff out of blocks if you like, but the nice thing is they do have a lot of pre-rendered stuff as well too. So maybe we want to start with a tree, and we just create a tree, and then we can move this tree wherever we want. We can also, if we don't want a certain limb at a certain spot, we can change and rotate the tree. Again, that's just clicking on the tree and then left clicking the tree and then moving the mouse from side to side. You can also add characters as well too, and this is there's a bunch of different types of characters. You can either add an adult female, the default adult male, then there's a teen female, teen male, child, and baby as well too. We'll go back to the adult male here for right now. When you're looking at this menu as well too, they also allow doodads, and so you can put like glasses on them. If you want to add glasses, you can add a backpack, you can put a mask on them, all these other type of things. If you want to get rid of them, you just have to click on the icons here, and that will get rid of all of those as well too. One thing about doodads is what I would advise is get your figure where you want them and then add them. I've been noticing that if I move the figure afterwards, the doodads don't fall with the figure. They just are yeah, so I think it's just important that once you get your figure in the right spot, then put the doodads on. Just know that if you move the figure around, the doodads will stay there. Some other interesting things about this character creation is you can have different hands. You can check and look and see how the hands are moving differently. You can point them, claws, natural, flat natural, flat spread, and then you also have this other things where you can do different poses. And if you have a certain pose, like you want to do running, you can do jump running. And then the other nice thing too is, let's say we want to take a look from the side. And we have that other camera there, so we can do that. And then we can also take that particular figure, we can rotate it using the rotate key. Now the other interesting things about this particular model is you'll see this sort of skeleton, and you can use different parts of the skeleton. If you click on the circle, you can see you can sort of grab that whole skeleton and churn and move around with them, and you can also see what that looks like in the front. Now the other interesting thing too is you can, besides hitting a circle, you can click on one of these bone structures here, and then you can have that little wheel. You can do some exaggerated motions with that too, and you can again see what that looks like going forward as well too. So you can do this for all the people here. That's how I was able to have the head turned as well as that. You can also have a light source, so if you need a light source above your character, and you have different opacities for that, as well as volume, which would be like fog or rain or maybe an explosion or something like that. You can add an image, and when you're open in VR too, so you can sort of see it from within the image as well too. Then you can either have the last two options, or save it to board and insert as a new board, and we'll just save it to the current board. So, and then when we get there, this is what the board looks like. And again, we can use some of these other tools up here if we want to draw something, maybe like we want to draw a sun or something like that. So, and again, we have all the dialogue. If we want some dialogue to put in here, action, running away from a dog. So you can put those things in there as what the action is, or notes. You can also, the note might be, it is winter and he is wearing a t-shirt and pants. I mean, stuff like that. Stuff that you think would be helpful if you're doing that particular scene. So this should give you a good idea of how to use this very powerful tool. So this is basically, I hope this was a little good for the tutorial for you. I hope this helps with your writing. Again, use this as you would any other tool to help gets you inspired, to help you create those words on the page that you need to. Well, until the next video, I hope your screenwriting is going well. Take care and have a great day. See you in the next video.